The design's aim is to preserve people's thoughts, opinions, and experiences towards Brexit. By developing this installation, we aim to create space and time for this interaction of opinions to unfold. The piece explores and expands the interplay between audio archives and a modern artifact, the telephone, an object that is tied to human behavior.
I live in Edinburgh. I think Britain being part of Europe is very important. I came over from Australia in the 90s to live in Britain and to live in Europe because it'll impede travel across to the continent and to France and those places. We might need visas. I mean, I don't matter that much. I'm thinking as a tourist, but it also affect the university in terms of overseas students coming here. There'll be a lot of effects. Plus, there's just the unknown effect. And also there's a kind of a psychological effect, which for me is probably more important than anything. I just don't like to break things up. I think it's an appalling idea of fragmenting something that people have worked so hard to create since the Second World War, since the 1960s or whatever.
Yeah, from Luxembourg. I mean, for myself, I think Brexit will occur after I leave the UK, so I don't think it will have too many strong repercussions on myself, but I think that afterwards it will be more difficult for me if I want to live in England or in Scotland afterwards. And I want to come back because probably in terms of immigration it will be more difficult. So when Brexit happened, I used to live in England when people voted, and my neighbor at the time was pro-Brexit, and before the voting happened we were very friendly and very nice with each other, and then we had to vote, and she voted Brexit. And she had posters on her house and on her car, you know, that she really wanted Brexit to happen. And after that, it was very awkward for us because we didn't feel welcome in the neighborhood anymore because I was in a house of other international students. And I think now, I mean, living in Scotland, obviously Scotland is not pro-Brexit, most of the population that voted. So I think I still feel welcome in Scotland. So it's not, I'm not feeling the repercussions directly, but I can feel the tension in the population.
I'm from Singapore.
I'm not like completely in support of Brexit. Because I did my undergrad in the UK also. So I spent 3 years here before, and I have a lot of local friends who are directly affected by Brexit. So a lot of them, because I think Brexit was happening in the year that we were graduating, and a lot of my friends were looking for jobs, and they told me that because of Brexit and because UK was leaving the EU, that they had lesser job opportunities, and they just lose the opportunity to go abroad to like EU, like Spain or I don't know, Germany, to look for jobs there also.
We are from Denmark, from Elsinore in Denmark. We think it's too much. I think they ought to stay. Maybe it's more difficult if I want to go here again. Maybe it's more difficult, and maybe the expense is higher. If I want to go here and stay and buy something and eat, I think.
It also about economy from Denmark, because we used to sell a lot of bacon to England, and it's a very big export in Denmark. So
All the good bacon goes to England, and we have the bad.
Decline in some way.
Yeah.
The visual design of the exhibition, including the location, size, decoration, or other details of the booth. At first, we decided to use 3 heavy planks to arrange around the telephone. But soon, we found that it was not the best choice for us, because the planks were too high, which might give people a feeling of depression and suffocation, so we gave up this idea. Unexpectedly, the object which surprised us later was the simple white table. By rotating and splicing 2 tables, we actually got a booth, which is very consistent with the style set before. For the instructions, we're using MapMapper, a professional video mapping software, to project the information we needed on the wall. According to the layout of the exhibition, we have made design documents, such as visual elements and text. The visual elements for projection, including highlight of the film, video of ideas for audience, circular flash animation of headphones, and the text, including telephone operation tips and the introduction of the project. Then the design files were imported into MapMapper and sorted according to different layers. After the computer has been connected to the projector, we adjusted the design documents to the appropriate position corresponding to the actual wall. We encourage people to talk, listen, and process each other's thoughts, but also re-evaluate their own.
It works very well. I still want to try the There set of headphones to see whether that's actually going to have a different set of voices or speech on it as well. The thing that I really like about it is actually the voice transformation is really compelling actually. That I actually really had to question in one case, what was the gender, what was the nationality of a particular person as well, because of the slowing down of the speech. I think that maybe it would be interesting to disguise the voice a little bit more in some cases. But having said that, I mean, I've just left my own message, and actually I'm quite happy with people knowing how I feel about Brexit, as you well know. But it's great. I think the actual artefact itself, the telephone, works really well. It's a really, really encouraging thing to, in fact, with all of it actually, the fact that it's presented beyond the desktop, there's no visible computer, and that is something that's really to be commended. So well done. I think it's really well presented, and I think it works really well.
I think your exhibition is really lovely. From a materials perspective, I think you picked some really nice objects to render into an installation. So going from the classical phone, you made a lovely, heightened version of a phone. I love the mechanic that it continually rings unless you pick it up. I think that works really well. headphones are interesting because there's completely different material, at least on one of them, and on the second headphone. For me, I like to try and find a way of it all like coming together somehow. The language that's in the second set of headphones would be really interesting if it kind of emerged a little bit on the receiver.
Receiver?
Yeah, so when you pick up the receiver, you maybe be interrupted every now and again by some of this, you know, just as an idea. But a thing that I think is quite important to explore.
Well, I think we've chosen a very good topical area to look at. Obviously, in Britain at the moment, Brexit is a particularly big thing. The entire government is paralysed and can't make a decision. So asking people generally what they think of it, it's an interesting thing because we've had it on the go for 3 years almost now. So most people are very sick of it, but then equally it's dominant in life. So even if we're sick of it, we still have to deal with it. So yeah, and in terms of your presentation, I like your telephone because we are used to picking up the phone and listening to it and talking into it. So it's a very good way of not only getting the messages across that people have said and have recorded, but also to encourage people to leave their own messages as well. It's not completely obvious as you're using it, you have to press and hold the record button. So I think maybe you need to improve your signage for that, or maybe some more instructions in the way. Of the two headphones, you've got the here and there. Here is very easy to assimilate. You can listen to it, what's going on. I actually prefer there. But that's partly because my background is in sound design and electroacoustic composition, but I quite like the more abstract sounds you get through that, particularly because it gives that kind of breaking up, fractured idea of the world, which actually in a way Brexit is doing to us. It's fracturing society apart, and I think you recreated that quite well in the audio side. So it's much more audio driven than visual, which is a bit of a surprise. I thought you'd have more visual elements within it, but actually what you've done with it I think works pretty well.
I thought it was really, really good. I felt it was really intimate. I really like what you've done with the questions. I don't hear the questions, but how it works. I listened for maybe 2 or 3 stories before I shared my own story, and it made me feel comfortable to share my own story because I heard very different opinions. Interestingly, I heard a lot of people who felt similar to me, and I didn't feel like I need to say something. But then I heard other people have different opinions, and that made me want to share it. And that was really, really cool. Like, I felt it was great how it presented me with different opinions that I know, but it felt different to hear them. I felt it was really strong. I thought it was great. I think it works especially well in space, and the way you set it up is really nice. I was a bit worried in the beginning about not knowing what to talk about, because I've spoken to you before and I know what it's about, but I was a bit worried that I wouldn't know how to do it. But when I was there, the video is really nice. How it has a bit of a game show character, but in a good way. It prompts me. I think you guys really came a long way from last week. I'm very happy to see this like this.
Thank you. So what do you think about these 2 headphones?
The headphones.
Headphones, yeah.
The left one was really interesting because there was a lot happening, and it was really intriguing to start listening to snippets. The right one, it was a bit too loud in the room for me to really feel like I've heard of it. So I preferred the left one, but I think that's the room rather than what is happening. It was just too loud for me to hear it.
Okay.